Hey, this is Spaceman Da Destroya, live from the home studios, talking with my man.
Peter Black.
There you go. The movements that have taken place, I think in many ways, were because basically the bread and circuses were stopped.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree with that. I agree with that.
and you know, the to me, that's a fascinating kind of intersection of where yeah, it's a horrible thing, but can we make something good come of it? And that when George Floyd passed, all the attention not only was there, but it stayed. The pressure stayed, and now we got to keep pressure. But I think without maybe the pandemic, you could say, hey, would this even would any of this really even be talked about? Or would it still be under the rug type of thing, at least just some thoughts that
But I
have
think that's a
from.
great point. Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think that's an absolutely great point. So being an entrepreneur, man, when do you find time to create?
Oh, I mean, that's what made time to create. You know,
Ah, ah,
I taught in DC in charter and public schools and private schools for about 10 years. And I was performing off and on while I was doing that. And I was pretty happy, but I had some kids and I knew I had to get some more stuff. So then I was kind of working through the system, getting promoted, trying to like take over DC public schools and help the kids. And, I was all in. But there was a lot of issues trying to make those things happen.
yeah.
And also, I think my own perspective changed on the value that I added, and maybe that other people needed to do certain things that maybe I was looking at, but maybe that wasn't for me. I've always been making music. I mean, since I was in middle school, I think I had my first little hip hop group in ninth grade was a Chronic Disorder. I was
Okay.
DJ Chronic.
Mhm.
Yeah, very creative. Um, and
Yeah.
my boy 64 ounce, we were something, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We won a few talent shows, we were good. But kind of, I've always enjoyed, I was a choir boy too. So I come from that kind of, I always like singing, always like sounds, music. I'm not really skilled, particularly at any instrument. But I can write the notes and see it. So kind of like a composer. So once certain things opened up, I think with some of the DAWs and the different programs that are out, and my ability to write notes and then kind of visualize what I wanted as a producer in terms of using different effects and bringing in different sounds. And I'm really still in that learning process on that end. I think I feel comfortable as a writer, but the production and the sound element is something that I really had more time and been able to kind of put, because I have a business, I was able to kind of buy some equipment and do some interesting things where I could, defer the cost or write it off as an investment, even my first album, so I could, basically I put the money in the head, but now everything from there on out is now like just profit. I
Yeah.
don't need any more instruments. I got a bunch. I don't need any
Mhm.
more plugins. I got,
Yeah. Yeah.
tons. And really, if you know, I mean, if you're making music, you know that all that stuff really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
It's they market it, but it's
Mhm.
it's really what's in here, and because you could take any sample and run it through a guitar pedal and have your own new thing that no one's heard, right?
That's
But
right.
how many people are going to buy, and I can show you my collection of guitar pedals.
Mhm.
And I don't even need that because I could actually do it all in box and on my Apollo audio system. I don't even need to really break out a Logic if I wanted to be honest. If I
Yeah.
wanted to tinker in there, I could use
Yeah.
those plugins. They would work. I mean,
Yeah.
so like we're in this great age of creation, where I think if you everything's been lined up. So if you have the ability to think of something you want to create, it's there for you, to create and have a project. And I'm kind of taking a long-term look at it, trying to make different music for different reasons. And I'm actually kind of working in a lot of different genres. I just have so many things I've written. Now I'm just trying to finish things, put them in albums, even get some other artists on a few tracks. Just kind of grow organically, mainly just to create art though. I mean, I know a lot of people trying to make it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
cool with that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I would like. I want to do shows. And I want to do like some festivals, and I have some things lined up that I'm working towards. But it's a long process, and it's like to me, it's like 5 years before you really even are gonna see maybe anything, unless you really catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
And then to keep up, you better have enough work to keep putting stuff out, keep people interested. So I'm trying to develop that back catalog. So I've got like, 300 beats I've already made. I've got like, 82 songs I'm kind of still working through.
Yeah, yeah.
I know I just kind of ran off on a tangent on
Oh no, no,
that.
absolutely, man, absolutely. But I guess what I want to know is because I listen to a lot of the stuff that you have with Spaceman Da Destroya. I like Wakey Wakey, but I want to know like how'd you make that transition from DJ Chronic to where you're at, not the lane that you're in now.
Well, I mean, honestly, that the first thing was really my friend and I. My friend was really the inspiration for it. He's the guy who had the, four tape track player, and we would
Okay.
play Parliament songs and
Mhm.
and try to loop beats. And I think for me at that point it was like just to perform because to be put myself out there, to take that risk was what it
Mhm.
was about in the beginning, and it was more like I wasn't really creating a lot of my own stuff, but I was kind of working with people, and I was good on stage.
Yeah.
I have presence. I'm not
Mhm.
my delivery needs. I have things I'm working on. I think in my sound, but and I'm
But you
open for all
but you
criticism because that's what it's about.
But you know what though? I think what you have now is a little bit of your delivery to me is a little bit like Be Real, and then your beats are a little bit more Public Enemy-ish.
That's cool. I mean, I've heard people say that like it's like some punk hip hop slash,
Yeah.
and I'm like, well, each beat to me is really kind of different genre. I got some jazz. I got that jazz, like
Mhm.
my song about like basically weapons of mass destruction takes you through
Mhm.
the history of human violence, basically, right?
Mhm. Right, right.
Ending with like, atomic destruction. But like, and that's all jazz. Like to me, that's like a Coltrane riff in the
Mhm.
background,
Mhm. Mhm.
because I'm really into different music. Like if you ask me my favorite artists, it's people like Hendrix, Coltrane, Miles Davis, Sonny Rollins, those
Yeah.
jazz guys, and then like Led Zeppelin, even on the rock side. Some of like the more even like Nirvana when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff influenced me too. And anything from Yo MTV Raps. I mean, when I grew up with everything from the West Coast, from like MC8 to DJ Quick,
Mhm.
Too
Mhm.
Short Cocktails. I
Yeah.
mean, and then East Coast like MC Ace Incorporated. For some reason, I used to just vibe on Pete Rock and CL Smooth. The first time I heard that Trouble T Roy,
Yeah.
that jazz riff, it was like
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
holy jamoly.
Yeah, yeah.
And then of course, like, everyone's on Biggie and Tupac, but like, Redman, What the album, I think came out when I was in high school, and that
Absolutely. Yeah.
blew my
Blue.
freaking mind. Like I was
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah. Yeah. And you're a
Like this
Nas
is,
fan too.
I'm a big Nas fan. I mean, he's technically my favorite lyricist.
Okay.
Like, and I think because like where someone like Eminem is just so technical, scientific, and I love it to a point. Although most of the new stuff I can't really say I follow too closely, but the feeling, I think the emotional content is always from the same place, like kind of, and instead of like the variety and like Pac is all emotional to
Yeah,
me
yeah.
and
Mhm.
not very technical and lyrical. And there's like this battle, right? Some people can't stand it if you're not technical lyrical. Some people don't like the technical lyrical because they're like, that's nonsense rhymes,
Yeah.
like some of the stuff doesn't make any sense.
Mhm.
But when you get that blend together, and I think like Ice Cube to me always had that back in the day. I can listen to Death Certificate or
Yeah.
Predator, any of that
Mhm.
stuff, Vaseline, that's
Mhm.
classic, right?
Mhm.
So any of those things, so technical, but yet emotionally on that higher level too, all the feeling. So I think when I try to do what I want to do, is kind of get a message in a song, right? But I think maybe sometimes I get a little too preachy, although I don't know if people even catch that because it's kind of high level preachy.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I'm gonna move away from that in my next work a little bit.
I'm rolling these boats, killing these ghosts, and we on